Welcome, my young friends. Today we are going to talk about place value system. But before we do that, why do I need a place value system or what is it? Okay, let's forget about place value system. Today we are going to do something even more interesting. We are going to invent numbers. So I am a person who was alive, let's say 2000 years ago, and I looked at this one. Let's call it 1. We will call it 1 and we will denote it by the digit this. So whenever someone writes this, it means 1. Okay. Now how many are there? Okay, whatever it is. So this is this. Let's call it 4. Let's call it 4 and we will write it like this. Let's throw in some more. I don't know. Let's say this is the thing. Okay, this is same as this. So let's call it 8. I am good at coming up with names. And let's make a new symbol 8. Let's throw some more. It is more than this, my fingers. I don't know. Let's call it goo goo. And let's say it is has the this symbol. Let's throw some more. Okay, let's call it gaga. And it will have this symbol. Okay, I think soon I will run out of names, I will run out of symbols, and most likely I will go crazy. So I hope you understood the problem here, right? We cannot have a different name and a different symbol for every number while we are counting. So that's what this is the problem that was solved by place value system. And who solved it? Okay, as per literature, there are a lot of civilizations who came up with the idea of place value system independently, meaning Indian civilization, some scientist or mathematician in Indian civilization came up with the place value system. Somebody in Mayan civilization also came up with the idea of place value system. So they were not same, but the concept was similar. So we will talk about Indian place value system. Why? Not because I am from India, mainly because the Indian place value system invented by a mathematician named Aryabhatta is the one being used right now as well globally. So that is why it's important to acknowledge the Indian civilization's contribution, namely place value system. So let's talk about it. What is place value system with the help of an example? Time to use an example. So we know these are the different types of symbols or digits that we have in our number system, right? And using only these 10 digits, I can make any number. Why is that? It's possible because of the place value system. Let's take an example. Let's take a number 108. When I write it, you already know that this is 108. 8 more than 100. You already have a picture in your mind that how much it is and everything. But that picture is made possible only because of place value system. So without further ado, let's talk about it. In place value system, every digit has two values. One is the face value and one is important place value. So what is face value of 8? The face value of any digit is the same as the digit itself. So face value of 8 is 1, face value of 0 is 0, face value of 1 is 1, and so on. But it's the place value that makes all the difference. So what is the place value? The place value system says that the numbers all occupy a particular position and we start from right and go towards left. So this place is called ones place. This place is called tens place. This place is called hundreds place, and so on. We'll talk about that. But what does it mean? That the place value of 8 is 8 multiplied by 1 is equal to 8. The place value of 0 is 0 multiplied by 10. So you see a pattern. In ones place we multiplied with 1. For tens place we multiplied by 10. 0 multiplied by 10 is 0. Anything multiplied by 0 is 0. Hundreds place. What do we have the digit there? 1. Hundreds place, you multiply by 100 to get the place value. So 1 multiplied by 100 is 100. And once we have done this, the actual value of this 108 is when you add up everything. So what is it? 100 plus 0 plus 8 equal to 108. So that is why this combination of numbers is equal to 108, because of this calculation, because of this place value system notation, that every digit has a place value, and as we move towards left, the place value keeps on increasing. We will learn about what are the different names for these places as we move towards left, and we will look at more examples as well. So what you look at it is the place value chart. Okay, we already saw an example of 108. So there was ones place, tens place, hundreds place. If we continue in this direction for more and more increasing numbers, what comes next? 1000, 10,000, 100,000, 1,000,000, 10,000,000, 100,000,000. We all know and love our billionaires, right? So 1 billion, 10 billion, 100 billions. And as we move in this direction, the place value of course increases, because a billion is more than a million. We all know that. And how does it increase? It increases by powers of 10. So this is 10, this is 100, this is 1000. Because place will run out, I'll keep writing zeros at the bottom. So 4 zeros, 5 zeros, and so on. So whatever digit, if we make a number, if we place a number here in this position, its place value we will find out by multiplying by this number, which is 1 followed by 5 zeros. Okay. So let's take an example. What example should we take? Let's see this number. What is this number? 4512. So what is this number? How we will call it? 4512. Let's take another example, a big one. Let's talk about billions. Let's say 27 billions. Let's put any random numbers here. 89, 429. So what is this number? Let's call it out. This number is 27 billions, 89 millions, 4,000s, 29. So what kind of problems you can get in exam? An expanded notation. What is an expanded notation? So this is a numeric notation. When we write simply in terms of numbers, it is a numeric notation. So let's write this number in numeric notation: 27,089,004,029. If we write it in words, when we write it in words, it becomes expanded notation. So it will be, just for the sake of time, I am using numbers here, but ultimately you should write 27 in words. 27 billion, 89 million, 4,000s, 29. So this is the expanded notation. So in exam you might get this notation and you will be asked to write it in numeric notation, or vice versa, that you will be given this number in a numeric notation and you will be asked to write in expanded notation. Easy peasy. Another important concept. Now, if you look at this number, right, it's very difficult to read, right? I mean, if I have to find out what it is, I will have to count ones, tens, hundred, thousand, 10,000, 100,000, 1,000,000, 10,000,000, 100,000,000, 1,000,000,000, 10,000,000,000, and like that I have to count. So, to reduce that problem, what is the accepted convention the world over? People put commas to make it easy to read, and the commas are placed for each block. So once tens hundred comma, once tens hundred for thousand comma, once tens hundred for million comma, once tens, okay, it ended, so I don't need a comma. So like this, it's a bit easier for me to now read. Another important point is that some countries don't use comma, they use a dot. Instead of a comma, they use a dot. Everything else remains the same. So instead of writing it like this, they will write it like this: 27,089.004.029. It would mean the same thing, but the notation would be different. Instead of comma, they would be using a dot. Okay, so that takes us to an example. Let's talk about some examples, interesting examples. So I have some expanded notation. Let's convert them into numbers. Okay, so 151 millions and 10,000. Let's write it into numbers. Now we can in the beginning use a box like this, or we can directly do it. So I will directly do it. You can go from left to right or right to left. 151 millions, so I already know millions. 151. So ones place 1, 10 million is 5, 100 million is 1. 151 millions. Anything thousands? Yes, there is in thousand. Anything in 100,000? No. Anything in 10,000? Yes, 1. Anything in 1,000? Yes, 0. Now anything else? Nope. So 0, 0, 0. Let's put commas. So this is the numerical notation for 151 millions 10,000, and this number is important because this is the distance from sun to earth. How cool is that, right? 151 million 10,000 kilometers. That's a big distance. Now let's take one more example, another interesting example. I am going to write the numerical notation here and then we will try to come up with the word expanded form. 5, 8, 7, 8, 6, 2, 5, 370,000. Let me catch a breath. So it's a big number. First of all, let's put commas to make it easy to read. 3, 3, 3, and 3. Oh my god, it is more than billions. So let's understand what it is. Ones, tens, hundred, thousand, 10,000, 100,000, million, 10 million, 100 million, billion, 10 billion, 100 billion, and after billion comes trillions. So it is 5 trillions 878 billions 625 millions 370,000. And what is this number? This is the number of miles a light travels in 1 year. And this is also called a light year. I will leave it to you to explore further about it. What is miles? Miles is a measure of distance. What is the relationship between miles and kilometer? Google it. Know more about light years and also find out which one is the nearest star to our planet apart from sun and how far is it. Try to convert it into miles and then try to convert it into kilometers. It would be fun. Keep learning, keep enjoying.
There were some other civilizations as well in history who developed a similar idea of place value system, even though it was very different. It was not base 10 or decimal place value system like we use today. Let's talk about two such civilizations. The first one we will talk is the Mayan civilization, or as some people might refer to as the Maya civilization. Now, this is the area covered by Mayan civilization. As you can see, this peninsula, part of it is now with Mexico. So this, if you want to look at the current map, this is the current map. So this is the area of the Mayan civilization. And as you can see, this is Mexico. This peninsula, most of it is part of Mexico, and some part of Mayan civilization is in modern day Guatemala. So this is the area of Mayan civilization. Now, Mayan civilization, how people used to dress up, how people got dressed. As you can see, they used a lot of feathers, lot of body color. I mean, I find it extremely interesting, the way they dressed. When you will hear about Mayan civilization or read about Mayan civilization, you will see this picture a lot. This is the picture of Tikal temple. Currently, it is in Guatemala, and it is a very prominent picture associated with Mayan civilization. Like any civilization, Mayan civilization also went through several ups and downs, times that were good, times that were not good for its people. However, interesting thing is that it is a very old civilization from 2000 BC to 1700 AD, meaning 3700 years. It's a lot of years. I mean, the civilization lasted for a long period. And that's why Mayan civilization's contribution to the world in terms of art, language, calendar, astrology, mathematics, they have made a lot of contributions to the world. Let's talk about another such old civilization, the Mesopotamian civilization, the Mesopotamian. Now, Babylon was the capital of a state called Babylonia. And Babylonia was a state in Mesopotamia. Mesopotamia, actually, the word Mesopotamia means in the middle of rivers. Which two rivers are we talking about? This river and this river. Where are these rivers? If we look at the current map, what is this water body? I will give you an example hint. This is India, Pakistan, Afghanistan, somewhere here. Then we have Iran, and then we have Iraq, somewhere here. So the Babylon, the capital city of Babylonia, exists in modern day Iraq. And these two rivers are also mostly in Iraq. See, this is the Persian Gulf. India, Pakistan, Afghanistan, Iran, Persian Gulf. And just above Persian Gulf, you have bulk of Mesopotamia between these two rivers. Now, any civilization keeps growing, keeps shrinking. So we will not talk about what was the area covered by this empire. We will focus only on the fact that Babylonians was the another civilization, one of the other civilizations who came up with the place value system. Now, these two rivers, what are these two rivers? This towards the east is Tigris. This towards the west is Euphrates. Now, city of Babylon, whose ruins now currently nobody stays there. So it is what you will find there, or what archaeologists have found there, are the ruins. These are the ruins of Babylon. This is where several hundred years ago a large city existed, but right now they are all ruined. That city is ruined. This city was founded more than 4,000. Wow, almost as old as Mayan civilization. It was a small port town on Euphrates River, but it grew into one of the largest cities of the ancient world under the rule of Hammurabi. Now, Hammurabi, you will find his reference in a lot of books, stories. Why? Because of this. Carvings on the stone, they represent Code of Hammurabi. What does that mean? This is the oldest known law for a large society written by which archaeologists have found in a written form. This tells about things like what punishment should be given to a person if somebody steals something, if somebody kills someone, or many other, if there is a any other thing. I mean, it basically tells in details the law of the Babylonian society as a of the civilization. So Code of Hammurabi, many people give that as an example that, okay, how to build a just and a good society. You have to follow a code. These are the ruins, we talked about them. And another important and a very cool feature of Babylon is the hanging gardens of Babylon. These are considered one of the seven wonders of the ancient world. Now, historians, people who study history, they are still not in full agreement that whether the Hanging Gardens existed or not existed, or they were in Babylon or they were somewhere else. But you know what? I want to believe that such a cool thing existed, did exist. Look at that. I mean, it will not look exactly like this. This is some artist's impression, his imagination. But hanging garden means the garden, an elaborate, huge garden on a building. Wow, how cool is that? So Babylonians, part of the Mesopotamia. Mesopotamia, a civilization largely developed between two rivers, Tigris and Euphrates. We will continue to talk more about interesting stuff in our post-credit videos.